for having us a decent crowd at this time of the day. And guys, when you guys are here, make sure you guys support all the vendors, all the different rides. It takes a lot to set up this type of event for everybody, so make sure you show that support here at the fair. Now in here, guys, what you're going to be seeing is a small reptile show followed up by what's called alligator wrestling. Now, alligator wrestling is nothing like it sounds, and we are going to explain a little bit about that towards the end of the show. Now, we do have a few people in here, both in the gray shirt. That's Heather and Tyler. They're going to be in here for a couple reasons. Heather's going to be a spotter, just as Jacob, but Jacob has a different reason also in here. But Heather and Case and Jacob, if anything were to go wrong at any point in the show during the large alligator portion, their job is to get the alligator off of the alligator handler, all right? And if something ever did happen, all right, I ask that you guys do not jump in and try to help me, all right, unless I ask for the help, all right? And sometimes we may need it, but most of the time we don't. And sometimes if someone jumps in to give us a hand, it can make the situation worse, all right? We end up getting 2 gator bites instead of 1. All right, they are trained professionals. They've been doing this for about 2 days, okay? So we're getting pretty good, all right? And I've been doing it for about 5 days, okay? So with that combination, I think we're doing all right. And Tyler in here, this is his first show he has ever done with us. And Tyler is going to be showing one of the reptiles that we brought with us towards the end of the show. Got to break him in young. So he is going to be, this is the first event he is actually helping on. And on that note, Jacob as well as a spotter, but he will also show you the rest of the reptiles that we brought with us today. Now, a little background about us. We grew up in South Florida. I worked at a small zoo down there, but we are living local here to the area. And we are working on opening a small wildlife park in Anthony, just out of Silver Springs, that will be open by appointment only. We have been in the process for a couple years now. We've had some setbacks, but we will get there, I promise that. But make sure you stay tuned, guys. Check out the website, Scales, Tails, and Teeth, and look for that open date. We are home to numerous alligators, crocodiles. We have different mammals, snakes, tortoises, turtles. We have a lot of cool animals. And you guys can come out and learn about those animals. You guys ready to see some reptiles?
Yeah.
Let's try that again. There's quite a few kids out here. You ready to see some reptiles?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe. All right. So the first animal that we're going to take out for you guys, we're going to start off with a couple turtles. Now, when I say turtles, people are like, oh, that's boring. All right, the 2 turtles we're going to show you are actually pretty dangerous. And these turtles live here in Florida. Now, the first species is actually a turtle that can be found here in your own backyard, in this area. I like to call this turtle the mosquito of turtles. He has one of the largest ranges out of any species of freshwater turtle. This is what's called the common snapping turtle. Now, there you go, and that's why he got the name the common snapping turtle, because of, you notice how he struck out? And they have a neck that can stretch about 1 foot in length, and their strike can be just as fast as a rattlesnake striking. So you want to be very careful if you come across this type of turtle. Like I said, guys, this turtle lives in every fresh body of water here in the state of Florida. Man-made or not, most likely he is living in it. All right, now if you notice how Jacob is holding the turtle, he has him by the underside of the shell and by the back of the shell. That is the proper way to hold him because of that long neck. Now, by the show of hands, when you're driving down a back road or down the highway, how many of you guys have ever seen a turtle cross the road? Most of us, right? Now, how many of you guys have actually stopped your vehicle and helped a turtle cross the road? Not as many, that's okay. Now, how many of you with the raised hands, how many of you was that a snapping turtle? Or was most of the time a slider or a box turtle or a gopher tortoise? All right, so we got 1 snapping turtle? All right, so if it is a snapping turtle, there is a specific way that you can grab a snapping turtle safely. Jacob, can you sit him on the ground for me, bud? Now, say you saw this turtle crossing the road. What do? You do not want to go down and grab them like your regular water turtles or like a gopher tortoise on the side because of that long neck. Now, if you notice how this turtle is turning at me, that is a very popular trait of this turtle. He will turn and kind of follow you. All right, so what you want to do is he was created with a handle. This is called his tail. Now, guys, when I say to grab him by the tail, I am not saying to grab him by the tail and run a marathon holding him by the tail, all right? What I want you to do is grab him by the tail, hold him away from you, and get him off the road out of harm's way, into the grass or into the water. So you're going to walk right up, grab that tail. He may strike out, guys, but carry him away from you. Never turn him this way, okay? Always away. Just like that. And guys, like I said, not very long. You don't want to hold him by the tail. Just get him off the road and sit back down. And these guys, once again, will strike out when you pick them up. All right, so that is the common snapping turtle. The next turtle that we're going to show you is another freshwater turtle. This freshwater turtle can be found in North Florida and then out of state. So we do not have this specific species in this area. Now, back in the day, long time ago, they said his range was this far south, but not anymore. This is Bowser, the alligator snapping turtle. This is his name. Have you seen this show before? Or did you guess that? You guessed it? All right. Oh, okay. So this guy here, his name is Bowser, and Bowser is an alligator snapping turtle. Now, alligator snapping turtles are the largest freshwater turtle in North America. Now, right now, Bowser is weighing in at about 30 pounds. And that would make him roughly about 30 years old. Now, that sounds big and old until I tell you that this species of turtle has been known to get up to about 200 pounds and can live roughly, studies show, about 150 to 200 years old. They get very big and very, very old. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why can Jacob hold him behind the head on the shell, and you can't do that with this snapping turtle? It's because of the length of the neck. Common snapping turtles, once again, have a neck that can stretch out about 1 foot in length. Alligator snapping turtles is 1/4 of that. Very small, will not push your hand out. Now, if you were to get bit by a snapping turtle like Jacob's holding now, he's going to take your finger clean off. If you got bit by the snapping turtle on the ground, he's going to bite your finger to the bone. So once again, guys, they are very dangerous. If you're not comfortable with handling them and try to move them, just turn your hazards on and try to let them cross the road naturally, all right? I got told one day that the lady said she let it bite a broomstick and drug it off the road. I don't know who travels with a broomstick, but if you do, that's an option, okay? All right, so right before we put them away, guys, we're going to show you real quick the differences between the two, and we're going to put these turtles away. Now, if you guys notice, the common snapper has a very smooth shell. The alligator snapping turtle has a rigid shell that looks like the back of an alligator. And that's the main difference between these two awesome turtles, guys. Let's give Jacob a big round of applause for showing some of these cool turtles. All right, guys. Now, that was the last turtle. You guys ready to see some alligators?
Yeah.
Let's try that again. You guys ready to see some alligators?
Yeah.
All right, but we're going to start off with some small alligators. Now, guys, the first two alligators that we're going to take out, this is where Tyler is going to be broke in right now. Jacob's going to get this alligator out, and Tyler's done this a couple times, but Jacob is going to re-show him how to hold this young alligator. And then he's going to walk him around, as Jacob is as well. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about these alligators. Now, guys, the alligators that you're looking at, after the show has been completed, for a $5 donation, you guys can actually hold a baby alligator. What we do is, for the $5 donation, we open up the ropes and the railing, and you come into the enclosure, and you take a picture with the backdrop behind you. Now, guys, the alligator, the big one, he will not be in here, okay? So it will be safe on that note, okay? He will be put back into the AC of the trailer. Now, guys, these little alligators that you're walking with, they're about 2 to 3 years old. And you can just stand right here, Tyler, in the middle, so they can look at them right there. And then Jacob's just going to keep walking. These guys are about 2 to 3 years old. And if you guys notice very carefully, notice the colors on the alligator. If you look close, notice they are not green. Alligators that are green are found in comic books or plush toys. Alligators are a black to gray with bands running down the body. As they get older, they will lose these bands and become more jet black like Cujo back here in the pool. All right, let your mom open that up and we'll go ahead and put him away. Now, as they get older, guys, once again, they will lose a lot of these colors. These guys here will eat small bugs, fish, small turtles. And as they get older, that diet will eventually get bigger as well. Now, guys, a mom alligator will lay right about 40 eggs in a nest at one time. All 40 of these little babies, they will hatch. But a baby alligator is about 5 inches long. They're very small. And what happens is things start to eat them. All right, they start eating with birds, fish, turtles, snakes, eat baby alligators. And what happens is they start getting picked off one by one. And before you know it, only 1 to 2 will make it to be an adult. The 38 of the baby alligators get eaten by all those different type of animals. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put, this is Randy. Randy, this alligator that Jacob has, is the alligator that will be out after showtime, guys. And we named him after the wrestler Randy Savage, all right? So that's where he got that name from. All right, guys, let's give Tyler and Jacob another round of applause for showing some of those good, some cool reptiles. Good job, Tyler. That was a good break-in. So I'm going to have you come on out, okay? Because you don't want to be in here for this part. Nope. Yeah, I'm good. We're going to kick you out for a minute because we got a big alligator that's going to be roaming the enclosure. All right, guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move to alligator wrestling. You guys ready to see alligator wrestling? All right, I know that's what you guys came for if you came to see the alligators or the reptiles. Now, alligator wrestling is nothing like it sounds. No one is going to come out in tight spandex. Sorry, I know, sorry. No one is going to do headlocks or body slams, all right? Alligator wrestling is a technique of going into the wild, or in this case an enclosure, and catching up an alligator. Now, I was fortunate enough at 11 years old to grow up and get a volunteer job on the Seminole Indian Reservation in Hollywood, Florida, where I got to learn and got educated on how to handle these amazing animals. Now, alligator wrestling was made famous by the Seminole people, and what they were doing, they didn't start off by wrestling alligators. They were out there catching alligators as a way of survival. All right, when their families were hungry, there was one animal that they could go out and catch, put into an enclosure, and that would stay alive for many months without feeding them. Can you guess what animal that is? The American alligator. But then what happened was tourism started. People started coming in and they started watching them jump on the alligators, and then they started throwing money. A few bucks here, a few bucks there. But guess what? Back then that was a lot of money. And they could start feeding the family in different ways, trading, doing different things. So that's where alligator wrestling came into play. And once again, guys, I was fortunate to learn this type of handling with these alligators. Now, when you catch alligators with your bare hands, it's a lot easier on him, but it's more dangerous for myself. Now, I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with Gator Boys. We had a show on Animal Planet for about 5 years. Has anybody ever heard of Gator Boys out here? All right, well, we thank you for that. We appreciate it. And you guys can still check out reruns. There are no more new episodes, but there are reruns, okay? So make sure you check that out. And on the show Gator Boys, this is the style we brought with us, and that's how we caught alligators, with our bare hands. So what you're going to see today, guys, is that technique. I'm going to go in the water, I'm going to work him a little bit, and I'm going to get him to come on to land. Now, guys, what you're going to see does not hurt or harm the alligator in any way. All right, it does put him under a little stress, but it does not hurt him. Now, Cujo here, his name is Cujo, and Cujo is a little over 8 feet, and he was considered a nuisance alligator. Now, what is a nuisance alligator? Nuisance alligators are nuisance animals in general, or animals that lose a natural fear. When alligators are born or hatch, they have a healthy fear of people. And what happens is, say you had an alligator live in your backyard, you throw him a marshmallow, all right? And you do that every single day. That alligator loses that natural fear. And that alligator can't tell you from me, from anybody. So then a trapper gets in, and then that alligator gets terminated. And that goes with bears and deer, and raccoons and possum. That's everything, guys. So if you see animals, enjoy them from a distance. Do not feed them. Unless you're on a ton of property and they're kind of your deer, I guess that's okay. But don't try to do that if you're living in a residential area, because these guys get the raw end of the deal, all right? And luckily, we are permitted in the state, and we can keep them alive. Now, one thing I want to make clear before I get ready to jump on this alligator and catch him, if you notice when I'm standing in the pool, is he coming after me?
No.
No, he is not. You almost made me fall, okay? Now, if you guys notice, he's hissing. He's telling me that he's there, but he is not going out of his way to bite me, all right? And in most cases, that is how they are, all right? If you go try to catch them or do something like that, that's when people most of the time get bit by these animals. And then, once again, it's the animal's fault, and they get caught and killed. I am a trained professional, guys. Like I said, I was doing it for a week. I was joking. I've been doing this since 11 years old. I've been doing this my entire life. And guys, like I said, these guys here, they are about 80% muscle. I'm about 5%, okay? So you got to bear with me. 2%? This is your last show, Jacob. You're fired after this, okay? All right, guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you a little bit on how these guys work. And guys, there's a lot of rumors about alligators, how fast they can run. Let's see if his mouth is working. Yep, those jaws are working. And this alligator, guys, like I said, their top speed running on land, I've been told they can run 50 miles per hour. Guys, they can run 8 to 10 miles per hour, but for a sprint, all right? You don't have to be an Olympic runner to outrun them, okay? I'm a big guy, and I will outrun this alligator. And then one of my favorites, if you're getting chased by an alligator, how should you run? Zigzag. Get away from them. Guys, do not run zigzag, okay? If you run zigzag, you're going to trip and fall, and he's going to bite you, okay? Run a straight line. If you guys are running zigzag, look behind you. He is not running zigzag, okay? I promise you that. Now, guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to try to get this alligator by the tail, and we're going to go ahead and get him out of the water, and we're going to see if he will let me catch him. Now, guys, the reason I grab the alligator by the tail is because there are no teeth on this end, okay? So it's the safest place to grab him. But, guys, it's just an extension to the body. This does not hurt him in any way. And what we're going to do, guys, is pull him out real slow, real gentle, not to hurt him. And once we get him out, guys, we're going to show you a couple things, and then we're going to catch this alligator. Now, what you're seeing right now is called alligator capturing. Alligator wrestling starts once I get onto his back. And once again, guys, alligator wrestling is dangerous stunts done by myself with the alligator. And that was one way, like I said, the Native Americans were able to make more money, was by doing crazier stunts. Now, what I'm trying to get him to do, guys, is open up his mouth, and we're going to show you something real quick, not very smart. Now, the jaws of an alligator work like a rat trap. Say something went into the mouth and didn't touch. His jaws should not close. It's a 50-50 chance. We're going to demonstrate that right now.
Oh.
And then notice nothing happens, but as soon as something touches, whoop, not that time, maybe that time, and you guys notice the jaw slam shut. That's because I touched him on the way out. And that's what triggered the jaws closed. Guys, let's give Cujo a big round of applause. Now, guys, there are two ways that you can catch an alligator. One way is called the quick catch. You grab the alligator by the tail, and you quickly jump on his back. There's another way called the frontal catch. More dangerous because you grab the mouth of the alligator. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Do you want to see the safer or the more dangerous? All right, let's try this. If you want to see the safe way, make noise. If you want to see the dangerous way, make noise. You guys are a sick crowd. Okay, I figured. All right, guys, now when I say the more dangerous, the reason behind that is because you got to grab the mouth. Now, guys, there are some alligators that will not allow you to quick catch them. I do have a few of the alligators that are like that back home. This alligator, he gives both ways sometimes. But we are going to go ahead and try that frontal catch for you. Remember, if I mess up, it's your fault, okay? All right, here we go. And guys, the frontal catch is basically putting my hand under the jaws and grabbing the mouth and crossing over and getting onto his back. Now guys, once I get on his back, I am not going to put my full weight down. Even though my weight's not going to hurt him, I still try to keep it off of him while I'm doing this. Oh, come here, bud. We're going to just spin you around real quick, okay? Real fast. All right, here we go. Let's see if he lets me do the frontal catch. Hand under the jaws, close the mouth, and then right now, guys, if he let me, he's going to let me cross over and get onto his back. Okay, just like that, guys. Let's give Cujo another big round of applause. Thank you, buddy. All right, guys, once again, guys, like I was explaining to you, this does not hurt them in any way. It just puts them under a little bit of stress. And we run a rescue for these guys, okay? We actually do events like this to raise money to go back into our program. Now, guys, what you saw was alligator capturing. The rest of what you're going to see is what's known as alligator wrestling. The most famous stunt in alligator wrestling is called the Florida Smile. All right, if you have cameras, take your pictures when the mouth opens. This is going to be the most famous smile here in the state of Florida. Now what you're going to be looking at is approximately 80 teeth, 40 teeth on top, and 40 teeth on the bottom. Now if you look in back of the mouth, there appears like there was no opening. That is what you call the glottis. This enables the alligator to go underwater, catch his food without drowning, then he comes above water to swallow that food. Alligators do not chew their food. They grab their prey, they rip it apart, and then they swallow the food whole. All right, so now I went out to the Everglades to catch an alligator by myself. I would normally bring a friend. Did you say no? I didn't even ask you. I'm going to delete you on Facebook. Okay. Well, she's not even paying attention, so we're good on that one. All right, so what we're going to do, guys, this is the last stunt that we're going to do for you on the show. We do have some other stunts, guys. We got 2 more shows at 7 and 9 o'clock. Make sure you guys come back if you want to see it. Let your family and friends know. And once again, come out to the fair. And guys, after the show, once again, we got that $5 donation. You're going to make the line to my right, and you guys will be able to come in to hold that baby alligator. You guys ready to see one more crazy stunt? Yeah! Wow, that made me want to do it. Let's try that again. You guys want to see one more crazy stunt? Yeah! All right, so this last stunt you're going to see, guys, is what's called bulldogging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the mouth closed with nothing but my chin and my chest. If you have cameras, take your pictures when both arms go out to the side. Good catch. All right, here we go. Now, guys, this was designed for one person to go out to the Everglades, catch an alligator all by themselves, and then at that point, they had to tie the jaws. Well, how do you do that if you have nobody with you? This is by using my chin and my chest, and that's how we close and tie the mouth. Now, guys, I will go through the motions of tying the jaws, but I will not tie him. We will put a little tape on him to get him in the trailer, but that's just for our safety and his during the transport back to the trailer. All right, guys, once again, take your pictures when both arms go out to the side. Hurry up, take your pictures. Now this is when I would take leather or rope, demonstrate how I would tie a knot by myself, and have a caught and tied alligator. Guys, let's give this alligator another big round of applause. All right, guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this animal put away. Thank you, Cujo. We appreciate you, buddy. And guys, once again, $5 donation to hold that young alligator.